These are episodes where the character you least expected completely stole the show. Starting with Absolutely Babulous, where we learn that Babs has a bit of an edgier side that Peter convinces her to bring out. So after a fire destroys the Griffin house, the family's pretty much forced to shack up with Lois's parents for a while.
You know, sometimes I get the feeling they don't respect me.
What makes you say that? Throwing you in the garbage is just an old country way of saying hello. And they'll say goodbye if the garbage pickup's on time. So Peter opts to spend his night doing something more his speed, drinking alone in a garage. That is, until Babs comes and joins him.
Whenever I'm here, I feel out of place. It's just a different world than I'm used to.
What's this? A high society lady drinking a beer. Oh my good gracious heavens, I've never seen something so radical.
You know, Peter, you and I are not so different.
You struggle to get too?
Well, I mean, technically yes. But it turns out that she doesn't come from money either. She's just had to pretend in order to make Carter happy.
I was struggling to be something I wasn't. In many ways, I still am.
Well, nothing brings out the real you like some good old-fashioned blue-collar drinking. It can also bring out the worst version of you, but let's just cross that bridge when we get to it.
What do you say we ditch this stuffy place and head to the Clam?
The Drunken Clam? Why, I haven't been there in decades.
Well, I hope you weren't too attached to that one bartender who was there forever, because I got some bad news. And after a heavy night of drinking, Babs is reminded of how fun it can be to stay true to yourself.
Felt good to reconnect with the girl I once was.
Hey, listen, you gotta stay true to that girl.
And girls like Babs and Peter need to stick together. Sometimes you just gotta become an honorary gal for such an occasion. It's a higher honor than receiving the Medal of Freedom, in fact. But Peter's words end up having some consequences.
After your night together, she told Daddy she's leaving him.
Luckily, Peter's able to track her down in her hometown, engaging in one of her favorite childhood activities.
I used to come down to this boardwalk and feed Alka-Seltzer tablets to the seagulls.
Huh, so not only is she more salt of the earth than I thought, she's also a psychopath. Really thought you were one of the good ones, Babs.
Peter, you've been able to stay true to who you were. I've lost touch with that.
So when she refuses to come home, Carter tries to show he can be more down to earth by meeting Babs at her favorite biker bar, which quickly leads to him nearly getting beaten up. A beast in the streets and a debutante in the sheets. So it was pretty cool to see Babs get more play here, being one of those characters never really given the chance to be in the spotlight. And given her expertise with a bottle, the showrunner should really consider giving her a go again. I know I don't want any glass in the old noggin. And no one should want Herbert in their homes, but that's what happens, and play it again, Brian, when the Griffins need a babysitter. So with Peter, Lois, and Brian going out of town for a few days, they're gonna need someone to watch the kids.
What about that nice old man who lives up the street?
Oh yeah, maybe Herbert can watch the kids. He seems like a responsible guy.
You sure there isn't a friend or a family member or even the greased-up deaf guy who can do it? Any of those options would be better.
You've spent time watching children, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
In fact, he's so good at watching children that sometimes they don't even know he's watching them. He's like Santa Claus, but with fewer presents and about the same amount of home invasion.
And don't you mouth off to me or I'm gonna slap you right in your pants.
Well, looks like you're in luck, Meg. I think. Never mind. Gonna shove that deep down in my memory hole before I think about it too much. But Herbert can finally use this as an excuse to get Chris into all the scenarios he's fantasized about.
It's bath day.
Oh, I don't want to take a bath.
Not for you, silly.
And for this bath, Herbert's gonna need the strongest, most manly member of the family to really get into those nooks and crannies. Don't get too deep though, or you may never come back.
Oh, rats!
Well, if he just closes his eyes, I'm sure it'll still feel like Chris is right there with him. But at least he's managing to share his attention with all of the kids and not just Chris.
Herbert and I are playing categories. Would you count NyQuil as a beverage? No, right?
Yeah, and something's telling me that Herbert's using NyQuil for lean purposes. One sip of what he's cooking and you'll probably end up looking like this.
The category is type of pet. Herbert put Cambodian. That's not right, right?
But after a long day, Herbert finally gets to settle down for the night with his crush.
That sometimes the things that seem the most dangerous turn out to be the most fun.
Yeah, I think I smell what you're stepping in, old man. Thankfully, I think Chris does too.
Are you a pet?
A gentleman never kisses and tells. But this episode was one of the first to really push Herbert into the limelight, managing to make everybody laugh uncomfortably as long as you ignored the darker implications of his character. But Peter would have the last laugh in Fecal Matters when he learns that Ernie the giant chicken is dying. So a flu epidemic has hit Quahog, leaving almost no healthy bodies left to help treat the sick.
Anyway, this flu season has decimated the hospital and we're severely short-staffed. How would you like to be a male nurse?
Kinda feel like Peter's the last person you want handling your vitals and bodily fluids, but desperate times call for desperate measures, I'm afraid. So Peter gets to experience every different aspect of the hospital, from observing surgery to resuscitation emergencies.
Clear!
And they laughed at me when I said dance music could save lives. Sure, maybe it couldn't stitch up that guy's severed lung, but it can do other stuff. But there's one patient at the hospital who threatens to put Peter's Hippocratic Oath to the test.
Jeez, what's wrong with you? We usually start fighting.
I'm dying, Peter.
Oh.
Is this like one of those fatal cases of dying? Because Peter's gotta punch something, and he can only make so many holes in the drywall at home before it's time to move on.
This must make you pretty happy. Seeing me like this.
I think you'd be a lot happier if you weren't coughing so much. Just because you're dying doesn't mean you need to be rude as well. But Ernie seems pretty resigned to his fate.
There's nothing left for me in this world. I lost my job. I lost my house. My wife left me for a bigger...
He's talking about a chicken, YouTube. You can lower your demonetization raise now. And just like that, it seems the decade-long rivalry they had is coming to an end.
After all these years, who thought it would end like this?
Yeah, it's, kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, I was really hoping the final fight would happen sometime in a Family Guy movie. Come on guys, The Simpsons are already on to their second one. And no, Stewie Griffin The Untold Story doesn't count. If it doesn't have dramatic movie shading, it doesn't count. But while Peter's pretty content to just let the chicken die, Lois thinks that Peter should be helping him.
You need him, Peter. Everyone needs a rival.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll be seeing much of James Woods anymore, so this is probably Peter's only option. But Peter doesn't seem to be changing his mind, though that's nothing a sweet little montage of all their greatest moments can't fix. Such good times, such wonderful property damage. Peter may actually need this chicken more than he thought.
Come on, you gotta live, damn it! I need you! You do have something to live for! Me!
Aw, I think this is the only time you can watch an act of violence and think it's actually kinda sweet. And apparently it's enough to cure Ernie of whatever it was that was ailing him.
So I didn't save your life because I like you. I saved it because I hate you.
So while this episode doesn't have one of the iconic fights these two are known for, it's still perhaps one of the most important to the core of their relationship. Everyone needs an enemy, and these two need each other. And there's no bigger enemy on the show than James Woods, who ends up ruining Brian's television series and Brian Griffin's House of Pain. So while rummaging around in the basement, Stewie comes across an old TV pilot script that Brian wrote long ago.
This is actually not too bad a piece of work. This was kind of deep, as I recall.
Kinda makes sense why he didn't put it out into the world then. Can't have it interfere with his brand of only putting out bad stuff.
Brian, your script. It was enchanting.
Kinda sounds like the nice way to say cursed, but maybe there really is something to it. So Brian decides to pitch it to CBS.
Brian, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to be blunt with you.
Yeah?
We love this pilot.
I guess it's just standard industry practice to nearly give your newest showrunner a heart attack before he can even make the show. But while Brian has an idea of how he wants the show to be done and who should star in it, the network has a different idea.
Hey, what's up, douchebags? I'm here to audition for this stupid pilot.
Yep, Mr. Hades himself. Because when you think about a soft, tender drama about a young dad providing for his daughter, don't you just immediately picture James Woods?
Hey, Science Face, I got an F for you. It stands for...
So safe to say this show is already in the crapper before it could get produced, but Brian's willing to just grit his teeth and power through the whole ordeal.
This isn't a sitcom, it's a drama.
Well, we thought it would be a lot funnier if it was a sitcom.
I think I heard somebody gave the same note for the series Chernobyl. Maybe I would have watched it if it had James Woods and the actress he's sleeping with, who is also playing his daughter.
I mean, what do you think of the tatas? I mean, can we do better? I think we could do better, right?
And so the show, now renamed Class Holes, has its first taping with a script that sounds like it was written by two interns working at Netflix.
You're in college?
You're my new college roommate?
You can always tell a show's funny when they have to tell you when you should be laughing. Actually, I might talk to our editors about this. My niche references could use the support.
Hey guys, the chimp just ripped the other girl's boob off. Please tell me you got that on camera.
Well, if the show is funny enough to get those hyenas in the audience laughing, maybe it'll hit pretty well with Brian's friends and family.
What a pain in my class.
That bad, huh? James Woods has always been known to cause chaos, and this episode had him at his wildest and zaniest. Also, potentially his most evil? You hate to see art destroyed like that and changed from its... one sec, I'm just getting word from my producers that I will also be rebranding. And who would have thought getting a bullet in the head would be the moment that made Carter a loving father, which is exactly what happens in Regarding Carter. So Carter drops by on Lois's birthday to give her a meaningful present from the heart.
A gun?
Yeah, you love guns.
No, I don't. You don't know me at all.
Yeah, you think Peter would still be alive if Lois even had a remote interest in guns? Speaking of Peter, he seems to be the only one who's getting any enjoyment out of this gift.
It was in a box with Chris's adoption papers. Oh. You heard nothing.
Yeah, like Peter and Lois would ever have the heart to adopt. Don't worry, Chris. Your parents most likely had you, whether they wanted you or not.
Oh my God, Peter! Give me that! This gun is not staying in this house for one more second.
True, revolvers are best stashed in the glove compartment anyway. You'll want to keep the big guns in the home, like a turret or similar. So Lois goes to return the gift to her father, but doesn't she know that's a tacky thing to do? The rules of gift etiquette are actually mind-blowing.
Why won't you just take the gun? Oh my God! Daddy!
Okay, not that mind-blowing. Old people are so dramatic. So after spending some time needing round-the-clock care, Carter eventually comes back, but has lost most of his memories and needs to be reminded what a swell guy he was.
We didn't do much. Your work always came first.
Really? And you still took care of me when I was hurt?
I know, I'm shocked too. I probably would have pulled a muscle from how fast I would have pulled his plug. But Carter sees this as the perfect opportunity to finally make amends.
That's why I've decided to retire from Pewterschmidt Industries and give all my money to charity.
Wow, just like that? Usually you've got to be on your deathbed or have been visited by 3 ghosts the night prior to make those kinds of decisions. But the most important part of all of this is that Carter and Lois are finally spending the quality time they should have always had.
Something insane.
There's nothing stronger than the daddy-daughter love of the song Great Balls of Fire. Even if the song kinda sounds like he's singing about being inflamed in the family jewels. And their newfound love for each other seemingly extends to the rest of the family, who all apparently enjoy the new Carter. Don't you just love a happy ending?
Oh my God, Daddy!
Who told Carter he could give away our money?
Well, it was fun while it lasted. For that brief window in time, we got to see just how good a dad Carter could be with just the tiniest bit of lead in his brain. Maybe more dads could stand to give that a try. And when a hot new anchor comes to town, Tom Tucker decides to try being young and hip in the new adventures of old Tom. So a new reporter immediately makes a big splash with the news' female viewership.
But did you see that sweet new piece of ass, Dallas Portland?
Hey, show the man some respect. That's not even the part of his body that does the reporting. But regardless, Dallas has become the most must-see part of the news cycle.
We had a bottle of wine and a joint at Bonnie's house, and we want to watch Dallas Portland before the buzz wears off.
Is this what people have to look forward to in middle age? Honestly, it doesn't sound like too bad a way to spend a weekend.
But look at that bulge in his shorts.
I've never seen a bulge in the front of a man's pants before.
But if you think Peter's feeling inadequate, how do you think Tom Tucker's feeling?
Since he arrived, our ratings have skyrocketed. They're grooming Dallas, which means I'm on my way out.
And that's the good kind of grooming, not the kind that happens when you meet a Discord moderator on Roblox. So Peter decides to help Tom appear young and hip with things like skateboarding, tans, and glasses without lenses.
Good evening, Quahog. I'm Dallas Portland.
And I'm T-Homie, with the news in your mouth!
I usually take the news in through the eyes and ears, but this young hip gentleman may just open me up to a new way of watching the news, which apparently involves trying to tattoo his face live on air.
What's wrong with you, Dallas? Never seen a guy so young and cool before? Tumblr!
And to no one's surprise, this gets Tom Tucker booted off the news team. Well, that's alright. It's not like his entire life and image revolved completely around his job, right?
I can't do anything else. I was born to be a newsman. This just out, me!
Well, with that natural mustache, he was either born to be a newsman or a relief pitcher. But with those two prospects out of reach, there aren't many directions Tom can go but down.
Oh my God! Look! Up on the roof!
I didn't mean literally, man. I just meant like, I don't know, getting really into Hungry Man frozen dinner meals.
It's over for me, Peter. If I can't anchor the local news, I have no reason to live.
But what about your son? On second thought, I think I getcha. But rather than letting Tom's death turn into a puff piece for Dallas, Peter decides to portray himself as the jumper and demands an interview with the only reporter that matters.
I think I speak for all our viewers when I say, don't do this. Please, come down off this ledge with me.
Yeah, but the episode's almost over, so you probably can't take the long way down.
Ah! Pigeon! It's fine, he landed on people.
Looks like that mustache will live to report another day. Tom is another one of those characters whose innate lack of confidence can make for some very funny scenarios, and seeing him try to act hip to stay relevant is definitely one such case. But when Brian's confident that Principal Sheperd murdered his wife and crimes in Meg's demeanor, he does what he can to expose him before Sheperd can do the same to him. So while living on his own and confined to a wheelchair, Brian decides to spend his nights looking through people's windows.
Is that Principal Sheperd? Wow, that looks like a rocky relationship.
Or some very convincing roleplay. Hey, if telling yourselves how much you hate one another is what you need to get there, who are we to question? But things might have gotten a little too domestic when Brian sees Sheperd with a dripping garbage bag.
I think Principal Sheperd killed his wife.
What? What are you talking about?
I think I saw him getting rid of her body.
Pretty sloppily, might I add. If you want to cleanly get rid of a body, you've got to... Okay, our lawyers off camera are telling me to shut up. And things start to become more apparent when an Amber Alert for his wife suddenly gets sent out.
Fiona Sheperd, wife of James Woods High School principal John Sheperd, has been reported missing.
Dang, she's only been dead for like 2 hours and there's already a missing persons report. Sloppy, I tell ya. He should have come and talked to me when our lawyer wasn't here. So Stewie decides to sneak over while Sheperd's gone, only to discover something much more terrifying than a dead body.
Oh my God!
What is it?
He sleeps in a bunk bed. Are you kidding me? Who is this guy?
I know some people sleep in different beds when the marriage gets rocky, but who said a separation can't be a little funny? But when Sheperd returns, Stewie has to hide as one of his dolls. Yes, you heard that right. I don't know if he's a murderer, but the death penalty still feels applicable here. Stewie manages to escape, but not before Sheperd begins to suspect something.
Well, that's not good.
But maybe they can just talk it all out over a depressing meal of instant ramen like these bachelors were probably gonna do anyway.
Brian! Stewie, help me!
Well, what's one more murder tonight? But when the cops do finally show up, it turns out there wasn't a murder. Other than the murder of Sheperd's self-esteem.
I didn't kill my wife. She just texted me today that she's moved out and she's banging my cousin.
Keep on being the walking ball of depression we know you for, Sheperd. But don't be afraid to be a little more unhinged, like in this episode. And a similar thing would happen when Quagmire started dating Elle the librarian in the L Word, eventually leading to her dumping him because he wasn't man enough for her. So Quagmire's having to drink and dash because he's got a new, hot, secret date.
Tell us who the girl is. You're the only one of us who can date. We live bi-curiously through you.
Well, that doesn't sound right unless... Peter, are there some new developments in your love life you'd like to share with the class? But Quagmire won't kiss, smash, never call again and tell, so the guys decide to find out the girl's identity themselves.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, he must be with a mystery girl.
And if he's gonna do the dirty on the couch with the front door unlocked, he's practically begging to be caught. Just another entry in the long list of kinks the Q-Man has.
Oh my God! Quagmire and the librarian?
Yep, that's another one on the list. He's really doubling up nowadays. It's clear Elle isn't Quagmire's usual brand of girl, but he does seem to really like her.
She's nice, she's smart, and when you ask her where she wants to eat dinner, she always has a clear, confident answer.
So the legends are true. There are people out there who know what they want to eat without going, well, what do you want 100 times?
And that's not even the best thing about her. Believe it or not, fellas, she's the best I've ever had in bed.
But before any consenting couple can be together, they must receive approval from the High Council, aka the guys who drink beer in a booth with you.
Well, I only even go to the library for the puppet show because I like King Puppet.
You mean this puppet?
Was that guy just underneath her seat this whole time? I get he's the king and can do what he wants, but does he have to be such a freak in public? So the guys are happy with her, but it turns out there's someone not as happy with their relationship.
Elle, what are you doing?
Oh, Glenn! Hi!
Yeah, I wouldn't expect someone who spends their whole workday reading romance novels to be restrained to only one lover. You try reading that time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf and tried to stay faithful.
The problem is in bed. Yeah, you've never given me an
That's like having a quarterback who can't throw a touchdown. Nothing left to do with him but take him out to pasture and let him watch the sunset of Mice and Men style. But after some mojo searching, Quagmire becomes confident that he can give Elle the good stuff if she'll give him another chance.
Are you sure you can handle me?
Better question. Can you handle me?
Well, I don't know what goes on in that bedroom, but it must have the same effect as watching the videotape from The Ring. Elle's a character who's starting to get a bit more play nowadays, and this episode was a solid jumpstart to seeing what she can bring to the table, as well as the kind of damage she can do. But Peter would try to help fix the damaged love life of Death in the episode Death Lives, leading to the latter finally working up the courage to talk to his crush. So after getting struck by lightning while playing hooky on his anniversary, Peter's visited by his old pal Death.
Thank God I get to hang out with a fascinating gent like yourself.
Like your normal day is any more exciting. This must feel like a holiday compared to all the heart attacks and drownings he probably has to deal with. But Peter needs to relearn how much Lois means to him, which means death is going to take him on a trip down memory lane.
Wait a second. I remember this. That's me. Look at all that hair.
Well, Disco did die in that era, so it only makes sense he'd pay respect. I hope when it's my time to go, I'm greeted by a shagadelic guide such as himself. And since Peter's going to be tagging along with Death for the day, it only makes sense that he meets the guy's mother.
Where the hell have you been? When I said lunch, I said noon, not noonish.
Sorry, Ma.
Can't even escape the overbearingness of his mother even in death. He must have been a real jerk in life, because this kind of sounds like a personal hell.
You know who he took to the prom? His cousin.
That's weak.
Yeah.
Sounds like she struck a chord, because Death hasn't been having much luck with the ladies.
What if I helped you get a girl?
Really? You think you could do that?
Of course! The malnourished bone man look is what all the ladies are into nowadays. Why do you think Jack Skellington has been as popular as he is? But when it comes to women, Death hits less of a home run and more of a foul ball that kills an unsuspecting old lady.
Do you, live around here?
No, I live with my mom.
Hey, that's the norm in many countries. You're gonna be in for a big surprise when you get to the afterlife and find out that you're living in a house with all your ancestors, like a messed up Coco. But Death has someone specific on his mind when it comes to dating.
Her name's Amy. She works at a pet store.
So with Peter's encouragement, he might actually be able to get them to hang out.
Amy, you wanna go somewhere and grab a coffee?
Sure, I get off at 2.
Great, great.
See, there's still hope out there for you guys who wear nothing but hoodies. Death is an iconic character of the classic seasons of the show, and this episode leaned into his more pathetic side, not only making him a more layered character, but also making us all feel a little better about our dating life.
Check, please.
But Trisha Takanawa would date Carter to bust a huge news story in the episode Carter and Trisha. So things kick off with Carter buying the Pawtucket Brewery, and he immediately tries to find ways to cut costs.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, what you're ordering is illegal.
I don't care about that. I want our beer cans made from the cheapest material possible.
Finally, the first beer can made out of air. That's just the kind of genius you get when you have millions of dollars to lose until you come up with one good idea. The cans being made from questionable material is certainly newsworthy, so Peter decides to be a whistleblower.
Mr. Griffin, it sounds like you've brought me an interesting story.
To be fair, anything would be considered an interesting story on a slow Monday afternoon. An elephant could give birth to the Quahog Zoo and there'd probably be like 20 think pieces about it by the next day. So Trisha decides to interview Carter, who is immediately entranced by her.
God, you're gorgeous.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, I remind you, this is on the record.
I think he's more concerned about moving this off the record and onto the bed. But this little fling may be just the break Trisha was looking for.
I've left your mother, and Trisha Takanawa is moving in with me.
Holy crap!
What?
When you're rich, you usually switch wives every few years. This is just part of the process. But while not everyone is sold on the new pairing, Peter sees it as a chance to have a new motherly figure in his life.
A son to whom I could one day give a piece of sour plum candy.
Thank you, Mama Trisha!
Yeah, winning Peter over is as easy as taking, well, in this case, giving candy to a baby.
I had a great day with the fat son. He started to respond positively to the caning of his buttocks and knuckles.
I remember bonding over the same thing with my mom. Never saw her again after that CPS visit, but despite their age difference and intentions, it does kind of seem like Trisha and Carter make a nice couple that can trust each other with anything.
I ordered the brewery to start making beer cans out of toxic, unsafe metal just to save a few bucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Turns out this whole ordeal was just a sting operation to get Carter to confess. Who needs journalistic integrity when you can dunk on rich criminals?
I thought we were in love!
I only let you think that. I'm sorry, it's time for me to go.
So Carter and Peter are both feeling betrayed and decide to try to sabotage Trisha's appearance at the local Emmys.
We put this in her drink. It'll make her instantly triple herself.
Unfortunately, not a cool tripling like duplicate, but the kind that makes bodily fluid come out of every hole imaginable. That's right, all 27 holes.
Hello, Mother. I'm so happy you could be here tonight.
What happy? You know what for Channel 10?
But it turns out that they don't need some magic potion to make Trisha feel sick. Parents have always been nature's nausea inducers. So Peter decides to sacrifice himself and prevent Trisha from drinking the spiked drink.
Hey, got it? We're gonna be okay.
Hollywood parties have some weird stuff going on. This was nice to see Trisha in a more prominent role, not only succeeding at being an excellent reporter, but also illuminating her wants and insecurities. Now, when are we getting that Ollie Williams episode to complete the team? But Bruce wouldn't be left wondering when he'll be married in Meg's wedding, as he ends up at the altar with Meg to appease his parents. So Meg decides to skip the school dance in favor of going to the bowling alley to hang out with Bruce.
Listen, my shift's up in a few minutes. Can I interest you in half a lukewarm grilled cheese and cold fries?
Beats watching everybody grind on each other at the dance. Somebody's got to stop the teachers from sneaking flasks into those dances. But the two manage to bond over being outcasts in their own families.
My parents has never understood me. Every time I see them, it's, when you gonna meet a woman?
Well, if you're gonna live in the world, I'd imagine you'd run into one at some point. Oh, they mean romantically. I guess his parents must be blind and deaf if they're still holding out for that future.
You and I is two of a kind.
Bruce, is this a date?
Yeah, why not? It's not like they got much going on tonight anyway, but it looks like they might be thinking less about the night and more about the rest of their lives.
Guess who has a boyfriend? Come on.
Hey, y'all.
Well, dating a man in denial is probably better than a high school boy. High schoolers don't know what they want, but Bruce does. He's just lying to himself about it.
I am 99% sure Bruce is gay.
What? Mom, he works part-time at Lush.
Is she implying that for him to be gay, he would need to be a full-time employee? Now who's the profiler, Meg? So the two stay together, and Bruce gets excited to introduce her to his parents, but not as his girlfriend.
Let me show you just how wrong you were. Bruce and I are engaged!
See, this is true love we're talking about. Despite the whole thing being one big fit of denial, everyone decides to accept it, and Bruce finally introduces her to his parents.
I'd like you to meet my parents, Phil and Candy Straight.
Very on-the-nose name right there. I bet she's called Candy just because she's so sweet.
A heterosexual marriage, just like you always wanted, and I did too. All of us did.
But when the day of the wedding finally rolls around, Meg realizes this isn't what either of them really want.
I know you don't really want to marry me. You're only doing this to make your parents happy.
And considering his parents are very, very, very oblivious, now's the time he might want to be a bit more direct with them.
Mom, Dad, I'm gay.
What?
Peter, you knew that.
Yeah, everyone but these two knew that. And in one last middle finger to his parents' traditional values, Bruce decides to make things right and marry the real love of his life.
Jeffrey, will you marry me?
Oh, yes.
Bruce has been in the series since season 1, and it's been pretty cool to see him develop, expand, and even find love. We do love a happy ending. If only this one could have lasted longer than a few seasons.
Oh no!
And Consuela would solidify her lasting legacy on the show when she became the Griffin's new housekeeper in Doggone. So after getting tired of all the mess Peter continues to make, Lois decides to hire a maid.
We don't have the money for that.
Oh, really? What about the Peter-copter? Did we not have money for the Peter-copter?
Hey, you can't put a price tag on vehicles with your face on them. Unless you're Fortnite, in which case the price goes for about 950 V-Bucks. But she didn't hire just any maid, she got Consuela.
Hello, Mr. Peter. Hello, Mr. Children.
Look at her, moving up from cutaway character to main story character. That's the kind of inspiration that gets me out of bed every morning. And almost immediately, she starts getting under Peter's skin. Not entirely sure what the song's saying, but I'm happy they have so many hornos. Or, I'm sorry, they unfortunately have many hornos. And apparently she's also pocketing some of Stewie's toy money.
I take.
What? You took it?
See.
Well, give it back!
Come get,
Maybe the hornos was the play money all along. Or maybe the real hornos were the friends we made along the way. And when the rain starts to come down, she sees it best to stay the night.
Can I get some covers over here?
No, you fat keep you warm.
Usually a family would love to have a live-in maid, but Peter doesn't want to cheat and have a secret child with her, so I guess it's time for her to hit the road.
No, I stay. I clean.
You don't understand. You're fired.
No, I keep job.
I tried the same tactic at my last job, and now they have a poster of me hanging by the front door telling people not to let me in. Whatever. I get to talk about funny cartoons, so who's laughing now? Anyway, it looks like they'll need a different approach to getting rid of her.
Does this rag smell like chloroform?
No.
Don't worry, Peter will make sure this maid goes to a good home, one that probably needs a lot of help with diaper changing.
I need more lemon pledge.
Okay.
Consuela is one of the most iconic side characters in the whole show, and this was the episode that really elevated her status. Not too many characters from Cutaways can say that. Best of luck to the cocky jogger, though. I'm sure his day in the sun will come. And Jesus would once again have his day in the sun when he returned to Earth in I Dream of Jesus, only to become a huge jerk with his newfound fame. So after Brian and Stewie steal Peter's Surfin' Bird record to give everyone's ears a break from bleeding, Peter decides to go to the record store to buy another.
Are you Jesus Christ?
No.
Oh my God, you are! You're Jesus Christ!
Okay, but let's be honest, that's just what the average record store employee looks like. I think it's a requirement on the application.
You've returned to bring us the good word!
What word?
Oh, well, a bird. But bird's a word.
Walked right into that one. But yeah, Jesus is back and has decided to lay low on Earth.
I pop in every 100 years or so, kinda incognito, just to get away from the family.
Not a bad idea, though I'd be a little nervous coming back to a world that killed me. I know Pontius Pilate still has shooters out there. So now, Peter has a chance to befriend one of the most powerful people in existence.
How about this?
Oh boy, Sundays!
I love you, Jesus!
Maybe he should have been making more Sundays back in the day. Hard to prosecute someone when you're suffering from brain freeze. But Peter doesn't think he should hog all of the glory of the Son of God.
What, you mean reveal myself?
Absolutely. This world needs you, Jesus.
One miracle later, and Jesus is once again at the forefront of everyone's minds. Finally, someone has shown up the false idol that is Chris Angel.
So, Jesus, what have you been doing since you've been back?
Oh, you know, just kind of bumming around, playing a little Call of Duty 4.
Oh yeah, that's my savior right there. So Jesus quickly becomes the talk of the world and ends up appearing exactly where the world needs him most. The MTV Music Awards.
Last time I was down here on Earth, I only hung around with one.
And it looks like he's working overtime to form his new apostles. Now, which one of you lucky people is going to be the Judas? But with Jesus' newfound fame, he quickly forgets about the little people who helped him along the way. Well, little figuratively speaking.
Hey, you guys mind scooting over a little bit?
Ooh, sorry, Peter. Doesn't look like there's any room.
Limos are well known for being pretty short on space, but Peter and Jesus start to drift apart, and no amount of going to church and praying will be able to mend this relationship.
Jesus Christ was found in Mary Kate Olsen's apartment this morning, face down and unconscious.
Oof, what a way to go out. Nothing was going to top Jesus' last exit from the public limelight, but you hate to see someone fall so far from grace.
You had it all. Money, fame, eternal life, and you blew it. You let it all go to your head.
So this whole ordeal makes Jesus realize that maybe it's not the world that isn't ready for Jesus, it's Jesus that isn't ready for the world.
Maybe I'll try coming back in another 1,000 years, when I'm a little more mature.
Or at least until Christmas, when it's time to sleep with people's wives. While it's certainly a controversial portrayal of Jesus, the character offered a great what-if scenario that also commented on the effects of fame in the modern world. If it can happen to Jesus, it can happen to anyone. Not me, but you know, mostly anyone. And who's a side character that you think steals the show? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to leave a like if you loved what you saw and want to see more.